So I'm going to talk about a few things that will happen very likely, most likely to happen on your spiritual journey. But first of all, um, I'd like to make something clear. I'd like to say something, first of all. Spirituality is going to be very difficult for you if you have been brought up in a very religious background. I could repeat that for you guys if you haven't heard me clearly. Spirituality is going to be very hard for you. So it's not even for you actually. Maybe not could not be for you. If you have been brought up in a very religious background. Sometimes I get people who ask me, can you tell us about the gospel of Jesus Christ? So this is a channel of enlightenment. It's a channel of truth, enlightenment, channel of freedom, empaths. So here, we never talk about religion. I never start a video and I'm going to be reading for you the scriptures and Jesus Christ and the apostles and all that kind of gospels. I never, because this is something very different. So sometimes people come here and the very first thing comes to their mind because they hear me talking about chosen ones. So they all want to believe that chosen ones were chosen by Jesus. The chosen one was chosen by Jesus, and everything. So it's a lot of very, very um, misunderstandings when it comes to this channel because many people don't understand what is going on here, what we're talking about. So somewhere along your journey as a person who is on your spiritual journey, you may sometimes wake up and realize that this is not for you. So it's where sometimes you see people, sometimes I've seen some channels and people are like, oh, those spiritual people, they are demons, they are evil, and they are this, and they are that. So this is because for the very first time, they are coming to the realization of how much they did not know. It doesn't necessarily mean that all spiritual people, they know everything. The universe is infinite, is vast. There is so much information, infinite amount of knowledge you can never even comprehend in your mind. But there's people that have got specific knowledge regarding specific subjects. So sometimes you see people running into your channel, maybe running into your content, maybe they read your books. And the very first thing is going to come to their mind, oh, those people, they're evil, they this, because, I see them, they wear crystals and this and that. You see them talking about the chakras and all these things. Because their religion told them that all these other spiritual terms, they're evil, so they're demonic. So basically, people don't understand spirituality. And it's understandable because not everybody is supposed to understand these things. You never see a spiritual person implementing their belief on somebody, trying to force you that this is what is going on, that is what is going on. It's like, for example, when you go to church and the priests are going to tell you the only way to heaven is by being born again. And some people are going to tell you the only way to redemption, what do they call it, is by accepting Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, something like that. So that's how they say it. That is the only thing they know. You come around and tell them otherwise, you're going to get into a very huge religious argument. That argument can go on for days. You're even going to end up hating each other. But a spiritual person, they will tell you something. You may understand it, maybe not. They will just keep on moving. They will not convince you. They're not there to convince you. They're not dragging you to understand their faiths or beliefs. They're just letting you be. You can understand or you don't understand, it's okay. Because spiritual people have always been misunderstood anyway. Now you see the conditioning we've had from beginning has been very deep. Whether it is a traditional setting you had, religious setting, it depends, school, whatever. It's been very, 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 very difficult conditioning. And sometimes, because now people are starting to wake up and breaking out of this conditioning. So to other people, they seem like they are crazy. When they are talking about things, people are going to be like, those guys are crazy. Don't listen to them. They are demonic. Don't do this and don't do that. So sometimes you're going to find a lot of conflicts. But as you embark on this spiritual journey, those are the challenges. I just wanted to put it out there. So that may also be one of the things that will happen on a spiritual journey. You are on a spiritual journey. Sometimes you're going to realize that you wasn't prepared for this. This is something that took you by surprise. You just happened to pop into spirituality out of the blue. You didn't even know how it started. You don't know what to do. You're struggling with it. Is what is going to happen. And you're going to realize that this is something you wasn't prepared for. You have never been prepared for it for as long as you've lived. Now, what normally happens during that stage, because it's very difficult to talk with people what is happening in your experience, you are usually going to experience loneliness. Loneliness. For me, it was in the first 4 to 6 months. My loneliness started around that time, where I couldn't talk to my family members. What is happening? I couldn't tell them anything. They didn't understand what I was saying. So we were speaking different languages. So that's when I knew that this whole thing was real, because I couldn't tell my family members what was happening. So this loneliness makes you realize that you're on your own boat, cruising and going your own direction, and nobody's in your boat with you. It's you. It's you and the universe. That's it. The conditioning has the conditioning you've always had was that thing where you believe that, oh, there has to be people around me. We have to be in groups. We have to be in a community, which is okay. Sometimes you can have people that relate with you and you're moving the same direction. There's no problem with that. But when you start waking up, you realize that you never really needed people. Because even sometimes the people that have always been around you, there was the people that were not meant to be around you in the first place. So sometimes you're getting comfortable to be alone. But for some people, it's going to overwhelm them when they realize that it's a very lonely experience to go through a spiritual awakening. It's not something that is for everybody. Again, I've said that this is not something for everybody. Some people are meant to go through this journey, some people are not. Some people are just meant to sit back and listen, maybe learn, educate, get enlightened. Some people are meant to lead this path, because there will always be some students and learners on the other side. Number two, on your spiritual journey, you're going to endure and you're going to go through a lot of tests. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be tested. If you're the person who thinks that you don't understand anything about spirituality, this is something you're going to struggle with. You are going to be tested in every aspect and every area of your life. The job you're doing will test you. Your parents are going to test you. The universe is going to test you. You are going to start realizing you are being tested left and right and center. Because on the spiritual journey, what is really happening is that you are evolving. So basically, you're growing on a very spiritual level. Now, what is happening here? The universe is coming in to test you. Some people will say Jesus will test you. Some people will say Allah will test you. God will test you. Most High will test you. Different beliefs, same thing. People, you're going to be tested. Are you ready to grow and evolve? Or are you ready? Are you just going to go back and sleep? You know? So a spiritual journey is a series of tests. Every level you reach on your journey, you are tested. Are you ready to persevere? Are you ready to push through? There's some people sometimes So actually, you guys didn't even know this. Maybe let me just put it out there, just in case at some point you want to do this. This thing we do on YouTube is a journey. It's some kind of a spiritual journey. It's something whereby you get into your creative abilities and you start creating content to help other people. So sometimes there's people I could say, why am I bringing this example? Because there is people maybe, let's say, will say, oh, I'm going to start creating stuff. It seems nice and easy. You know, sometimes when we do these things, they appear too easy. Maybe because there's something that is meant for you. When you're doing it, on the screen, it appears on the screen it's going to appear too easy. Oh, everybody, I can do this. How? If you can do that, I can do this. I've even had some people who have actually, they still do it now. They are copying and pasting my content. They are doing the same titles. They are doing the same videos, using the same words. So it's like cloning. They are cloning my channel. I don't even know how YouTube allows these kind of things to happen. And I'm not a person who likes to take these kind of actions. You know, it takes me a very long time to do this. But it might reach a point whereby I might have to take action because it just shows somebody who doesn't have creativity. YouTube doesn't allow cloning, copying and pasting people's content. So basically what is really happening, people think that because you're doing it, oh, this I see them are doing it, it's too easy. I can do it. Me also I can do that, and I can do this. And it's a good thing to try because I always tell people, sometimes, okay, give it a shot. It may be your path. But the very first thing I'm going to tell those people, be authentic. Be authentic, okay? Stay in your lane. Don't go around sneaking into people's channels, stealing content or whatever, trying to do this or go, just be in your lane, in your own lane, do your thing. It may be the job. It may be the job for you. It may be the work for you. You may do it. You could go ahead. And somewhere down the road, what they realize is that, oh, this whole thing is, it was not what they thought. This was something completely different. They wasn't prepared for this. So basically, that's what I mean by you tested. Is one of the tests you can endure. Are you ready to hop on this path, or do you want to go back and sleep? So you've heard about some people who started something, and then after some few whatever months or years, some of the metrics push them back into the matrix to go back and sleep, go back and do the regular because that's where they belong. I've had a woman one day, and I think I've shared this video. That woman had a spiritual awakening at some point. She was a little bit young. And the religious, because this is what I've told you in the beginning about religious background. So this woman, basically, lady, she was taken to her church, and the people said that she had a problem. So they started praying for her and everything, and what, and they drove her back to sleep. So she went back to sleep, completely dead sleep. The time I met this woman, I couldn't believe this. The things that she was telling me she was going through and what her life, what it looked like at the moment, she was completely asleep. So tests are something that is going to happen on your journey. It is something that is inevitable. The universe will keep on testing you. You evolve. One step you tested. The next step you tested. You are going up. Every level you reach, new level, new devils. Like how they say it in the modern times. New level, new devil. At some point later on, you are going to experience depression. Depression is not a death sentence. I always tell people, depression is a phase. So basically, what's really happening is that you're going through a lot of ego deaths. All those things that you thought you knew, everything that you thought was familiar to you, everything starts falling apart. You try to get this in shape, the other one falls. The other one, you get this one falls. You are going through a lot of ego deaths. You can barely catch up with the pace. The universe is taking you at a terrific speed. You can barely catch up with what is going on. And sometimes the mind is not ready for this. So basically the mind goes into lockdown mode, whereby you no longer know what to do. Because you've been trying different things and it looks like every direction you go, everything is against you. So sometimes people go into breakdown mode, okay? There's a very beautiful light that happens after the depression is done. That is normally occurring because you are very close to stepping into your purpose. So your old world is shutting down. The things, the people, the places you thought was familiar, they're all shutting down so you can be born into the new version of you. That is where the depression kicks in. It will start with little bits of stress, loneliness, and everything is adding up, Sometimes you're running into debt, finances are crumbling. That is because your old matrix is falling apart. And the ego is trying to hold on. What do we do? Hey, Denzo, this and this happened, that one, that happened. Everything is falling apart. Your old matrix is shutting down. And the mind wasn't prepared for this. That is what exactly causes the depression. But I can promise you, beyond the depression is a very beautiful life waiting ahead of you. If you can just push through that level, that pressure, it will pass. It's a storm. It's a stage of this awakening. It will pass. On the other side, you're being birthed into the new version of you. Something else that is going to happen in your spiritual journey, you really are going to be rejected. I never really understand. I used to struggle with rejection. Oh, do you wanna be my friend? Do you wanna we hang out? Do you wanna let's go this? This and this. No, 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 no. Everybody is going to say no. Have you got a job for me? No. Is that house available? No. The house is available. You don't see anybody there. There is even a sign on the top. You will come there. You will ask those people, hey, I saw a house on this street. Is it available for rent? Maybe for sale? No. No and no and no. There is something you need to understand about the spiritual journey. I've told you this is not something for everybody. It can make you realize how much you did not know and how much you wasn't paying attention for the longest of time. What is really going to happen? Every moment you want to get into contact with your old reality is going to reject you. That is because on a spiritual level, you are no longer the same person. So you have shifted and you have changed energetically, and you're no longer the same person. So those people or places and things that you used to do many years ago, they're no longer making any sense. So sometimes the ego still remembers. Your soul has already left that stage, but your ego remembers what was familiar back in the days. The friends that used to be around you, the booze. There's a time I even tried to get to booze. Not that you cannot have a wine every now and then, but not to that extent that you used to. Every now and then you may have a glass of wine, as long as it doesn't harm you or affect you. But I tried to booze. At this time, I tried to booze, and the next couple of hours, my stomach wasn't doing very well. So basically, there's some things you can no longer do because it's no longer working for you. So basically, the things that you used to do, the places you used to be, the person that you used to be, the kind of ladies you used to date, they're no longer making any sense. Everybody's like, no, 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 I'm not, they reject you. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to reject you. And it's going to, it's going to crack some a little bit. So because, at the end of the day, it's not yet clear why people are rejecting you. But as the time goes on, you understand, oh, that's the reason why they reject you, because you're no longer on the same frequency. So you're in the direction that they're not going. You're talking about things they don't understand. So how do you really expect to go back and date those same girls you used to date back in the days? And you're going to sit down with them and tell them and start talking about spiritual awakening. They're going to ghost you immediately They're going to be like, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. So I don't know what is spiritual what, and what is this, and ego death. What is this? What is this language you're talking about? So the universe will make it short, the procedure very short, for you to spare you a lot of time. You don't waste energy, and the universe will instantly remove those things on people. So it's going to be rejection after rejection. It's nothing personal. Don't take it personal. When these things happen, you just have to know you're evolving, you're in a different path altogether. So these things have got to happen. But there's also good things that will happen on your spiritual journey. And I think this is going to be a different video. So let us end this one here. So those are some of the downsides, the things that you may struggle with along your journey. Now we are going to talk about the good part of having a spiritual awakening, and we are actually going to go through a lot of things that you will experience as a person that is going through a spiritual journey. We do not make the video long. You guys know how it works. Let us know what you think. You know I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session. You can always donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll see you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.